Okay, I see there's a couple here. All right, hello and welcome to Kelly's Wordy Reactions. Hey, is it Danielle? Looks like Danielle. Am I getting that right? Okay, so today I just heard about this viral TikTok. Is who TF did I marry? It's in the title. And oh, okay, cool. I got that right. Um yeah, so all right, so my daughter was telling me about it last night and she was just telling me I should watch it. And so she was telling me about it and telling me about it, and then I was thinking, you know what? I wonder if I can review it on the channel. I know if I hadn't heard about it, probably a lot of people hadn't heard about it. But a lot of people have heard about it. She has millions of views on TikTok for it. Um, so I just, I don't really see a lot of people talking about it over here on the YouTube side, which it might be, and maybe I just don't know. But anyway, I wanted to look at some of it. So I've seen the first few. You know how on TikTok you can't do very long videos. So they're 10-minute or right at a little bit under 10-minute segments. The way that this lady is telling her story. So so basically she's saying that she married a pathological liar. And it took her a long time to figure this out. And then she's saying there were so many red flags along the way, but for whatever reason, at first she didn't see them, and then at another point she was so kind of like far in, she just started ignoring them, um, and hoping for the best. So normally I do a lot of the Shirley Strawberry husband, Ernesto Williams content, and look at all of the video visits here recently, and then there's the jail calls. And so I look at those over here, and there is a jail call. Well, no, a video visit that came out last night that I want to also review. I may get to review that this morning, but I really want to get into this TikTok and look at least a few of these, and have some commentary on it as well. She tells her story so good. I don't really know. I don't really know how much commentary I can actually have. I think I'll just stop every few minutes, and if there's anything in the chat, we'll read that, um, and just kind of go from there. But I did look at a few of them. It's such an interesting story. So I'll just get in here and see how it goes. But I will stop her from time to time, because I think there is something against just um, playing video that you don't have any commentary for. So we'll stop it from time to time, see if there's anything in the chat, and then come back to it. So let's go ahead and connect to her over here on TikTok and get my screen shared. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, so let's go ahead and get to watching her. She's ReesaTeesa on TikTok. So let's get into her story. She's gonna do an introduction right here, so we can understand. I didn't even see the introduction yesterday, so let me get to watch her introduction here.
Hi, and welcome. We all know why you're here. You're here for part of the new series that I'm calling Who the Fuck Did I Marry? I'm going to create this playlist series, and I'm going to tell the story of how I met, dated, married, and divorced a real pathological liar. This is my introduction slash disclaimer video. First and foremost, I'm going to be truthful, even if it makes me look bad. I'm going to be honest, but I'm also not going to be disrespectful to anyone that was involved. I'm not going to use people's real names because I don't have their permission to do so, and the sister does not want any sort of litigation. Um, I will tell you off the top, I have a sense of humor and I have sarcasm. So things that you see me laughing at, none of this is funny. But in order to get through it, I have to laugh. If I cry, I cry. I'm human. I'm a woman. This was traumatic. Um, I'm going to do the best I can to upload as much of the story as I can, because I know people get so annoyed with the follow for part 4, follow me for part 17. I'm just going to do the best I can to keep uploading the videos each at a time. I'm going to go in order from the time we met until the time I got our divorce decree in the mail.
Let me stop her for just a second and say this. Um, that I know of, there are 52 parts. So, what is that? These are like right at 10 minutes, or like I said, a little bit under. So, that means that it's about a 5 hour or over, probably right at a 5 hour story that she's telling. So, since she's telling it on TikTok, of course, she has to like break it up. Um, but it does flow pretty good. But yeah, there's 52 parts. So I'll just see how much interest it is, like I said, for it, and things for us to talk about. And I felt like it was. It's like it's so many things in here that need to be really, really, really looked at, and like just really weighed out before you do them the way that she did them. Um, she made a lot of exceptions to her own rules and just basically went against a lot of her own standards. So, anyway, let's get back to her story.
So that is a lot of time to cover. Please give me the grace to just get it out. It may not be all in one day, it may not be all in 2 days. But what I can tell you is, even if you don't necessarily see a video, I'm probably recording it and then I will upload it into the playlist titled Who the Fuck Did I Marry? What else do I need to cover ahead of time? Because I feel like this video is important to give some sort of context. So that way, when people jump into the series, they kind of can figure out, oh, let me start at the introduction video and then work my way through. A lot of the questions that you all have sent me will be answered when I start and tell the story in order. Um, Everything I'm going to tell you can be verified. There are people in my life who can easily verify, yes, this did happen. Yes, he really did do that. Yes, he said that. Yes, she did go through that. I have no contact whatsoever with my ex husband in any way, shape, or form. We do not communicate. We do not have mutual friends or anything, but that we're where we communicate through those people. No contact. I cannot stress that enough because I feel like somebody's going to ask me, "Do you still talk to him?" No, I ain't seen him. I ain't heard from him. I don't want to hear from him. And I will tell the entire story up until the last time I did hear from him and what happened. Yeah, this is my story. So, um, I am just a regular woman who thought she met the one, and I didn't. Most people have never came in contact with a pathological liar. We typically come in contact with like a compulsive liar. It is not the same. A pathological liar has no reason for why they lie. And the lies that they make up, there's no limit to the lie. Um, I was once a psychology major in undergrad. I didn't graduate with a psychology degree, but I'm very comfortable saying that he was a pathological liar. He was a narcissist. And yes, there was some mental, in my opinion, mental health issues going on. Pathological lying part, absolutely. But
Ooh, I'm so sorry. I muted my mic. Um, I know a person like this, and it's so bad that I've never enjoyed even having a conversation with this person because you cannot get into any type of conversation without the person telling you these larger than life lies. And it's just it's just so unnecessary, and it creates this barrier to where now for her, I guess because she didn't have any context. Even, like for me, when I first encountered this person, and and they lied like this, I don't remember ever believing them because, pretty quickly you figure out that somebody is just like the things that they're saying that they couldn't be true. But I mean, I guess because I was so young when I first started knowing the person, maybe maybe it went over my head. But yeah, I can't even. It's like this person, you don't even take having a conversation with them seriously because you know that everything they're saying is at least so many lies put into it that it's just no need in listening to anything that's being said here because it's hard to sort out what's the truth and what's not. And most of what they're saying is going to be a lie. But anyway, let me let me let her continue.
So I want to preface all this by saying you're going to probably think, what in the world? There's no way this happened. Everything you're going to hear me say actually did happen. I never thought I was going to be in some sort of Lifetime movie, but I was. Um, so I will read the comments as best I can. Like I said, I think if you allow me to tell the whole story, things will be answered. Um, and sorry, I do talk with my hands. It's a coping mechanism. So if you're like, why is she moving her hands? Um, Other than that, let's all take a deep breath, buckle in, because this was a fucking crazy ride. And if you think it's crazy, imagine how I feel as the person who lived it and had no idea what I was dealing with. I thought I knew, but I truly had no idea who the fuck I married. You like how I twisted that? Anyway. All right, y'all. This is the introduction, so welcome. Part one will be up shortly. Hi, and welcome. We all know why you're here. You're here for part of the new series that
Okay,
I'm
so
calling Who the fuck
That's the
did I marry?
beginning.
I'm
I'm logged in as a guest. Okay, here we go.
Please excuse the hair, but here is part one of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So I met my ex-husband around March 4th of 2020. We met on Facebook dating site, and we also matched on Hinge. I did not realize that he was on both under two different names. So one was his actual name, and the other one was a variation, like a nickname um, that he called himself. Different pictures. So it was a running and also that should have been a red flag. By the way, you will notice in this story, I called it the United Nations of red flags. It is so many red flags that, I mean, you would have thought I was colorblind because I ignored all of them. So anyway, back to the story. We met around March 4th. We exchanged phone numbers. He called me and we talked on the phone for the first time. In the first phone call, he told me that he had just moved to Georgia from California from San Diego. His job had transferred him because he was being transferred in as the new regional manager for a major condiment company that is based here in Georgia. I'm not going to say the name. And so we also talked about his childhood. He told me he grew up in Philly. He's from Philly. Both of his parents were deceased. This is the first phone call. Both of his parents were deceased. His father was a Philadelphia police officer. His mom was a teacher. He also told me he briefly lived in Augusta with his family. He had two brothers and two sisters. He also had two half brothers on his dad's side. First phone call. So I'm just giving you guys the backstory. This was the first phone call we had. So we talked about family, we talked about friends, we talked about our jobs. At the time, I was working at Georgia State Patrol. And he knew this and he just thought that was like, wow, so you work with troopers all day. Yes, I did. Also in that phone call, he explained to me that he used to play football. He explained that he used to play arena football. I know nothing about arena football. I know about NFL. I know about college. Go Dogs. But I don't know anything about arena football. So he explained to me that he used to play arena football. He used to work at Apple in the off season of arena football. And I remember.
Okay, and I'm going to stop her real quick here again and just say, so this all seems very normal. It seems like, I'm getting to know you, you're getting to know me. This is really good. Um, and I think that that's the way that we think it should be. I think especially women, like we think, or I'm not going to speak for all women, but some women think, yes, I want to get to know you. Um, I want you to get to know me. So it's like we give up all this information, people that are like this and think this way. And then you're happy when you run into a man that's willing to tell you all about himself, tell you about his life, his history, his family, just give you all this information. It makes you feel like they want to know you and they want you to know them. Um, but the problem with this, especially right away, because she keeps stressing this is the first conversation. Um, the problem with that is they're giving you all this information, then they're getting a lot of information from you, and then you are basically giving them so much to go on. Like you're giving them all of this, all these keys about yourself. And she keeps saying, like, I haven't gotten to the end of this. I'm only a few of these in, but she keeps saying this is what he told her. So I don't even know which things about him are true at the point that I've even gotten to in the story. But it's she's making it seem like, as we get into it, she's making it seem like a lot of these things aren't really even his true facts. So she's probably giving him a whole lot of real, true facts about herself, and then he's feeding her this, whatever, and she thinks it's true. But I'm just saying it'd be better to find out a lot of this stuff kind of over time, and see the people in person or meet the people in person. um, just not give up so much of your real information because you think somebody's giving you their real information, but in the meantime you're giving them a lot to work with, because the more somebody knows about you, the more they have to kind of make it seem like, us, we know each other. Like, you know me, my family, my parent, and then both of your parents are deceased. So that's a big thing, a big piece of you right there that stops me from verifying a whole bunch of stuff. Um, but anyway, let's keep going. Y'all get in the chat and tell me what you think. But this is just what I think so far. Here we go.
I remember thinking on that phone call, oh, okay, like, good for you. I don't know anything about arena football. And I believe I did tell him that. I don't know anything about arena football. That'll come into play later on. So he told me, I just moved here. My job is paying for my housing, and they're helping me to look for a house. He was like, I'm trying right now. I'm in Gwinnett County, but I'm trying to look for a house, ideally in Atlanta, like Brookhaven, Sandy Springs. He was like, I really would like to move out there. And so I thought, that's great. You're looking to get a house. You just moved here. He was like, I don't really know too many people here because I spend all my time at work, and this job is really demanding. So that was our first phone call. We talked more. He talked a lot, which took me by surprise because I'm not really used to men talking more than me. He eventually asked me out on a date. Our first date was set for Saturday, March 7th, 2020. He asked me what was my favorite restaurant. I said Cheesecake Factory. And so we agreed to go out at the
Cheesecake Factory
in a location that was in between. I lived in Clayton County at the time. He lived in Gwinnett County. I realized that if you don't know anything about Metro Atlanta, that makes no sense. But basically, we lived about 45 minutes apart. So we agreed to meet at the Cheesecake Factory over at Perimeter Mall, which is in an area, Sandy Springs, Dunwoody area. I was excited. Like, I called my friends and was like, I got a date, blah, blah, blah. We'll see how it goes. First conversation was good. Hopefully he looks like his pictures, because, that's always an issue with online dating. Hopefully he looks like his pictures. So on my way to our date, I took 285, and literally right before I got to Boulder Crest, the exit for Boulder Crest, I heard a boom, and I lost control of my car. Thank God that not thank God, but I knew what to do. So I did not crash, but my tire blew out. So I called him and I said, hey, I'm so sorry, but my tire just blew on 285. I'm slowly making my way off the exit. I believe I pulled into a Chevron gas station. And I said, I got to get this fixed. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm a damsel in distress kind of thing. He kind of paused. He got quiet, and he was like, tell me exactly where you are. Drop your pin. So I dropped the pin, and he came to the gas station. Got out the car, and I was so relieved that he actually actually looked like his pictures, that I was like, oh my God, he's actually attractive, because he's like 6'4", 6'5". Um, oh, also, man, I apologize. So let me go back to the first conversation. Let me add something. He did tell me in the first phone call that he was divorced, and that his ex-wife, she had two children, a boy and a girl, who were teenagers, young adults. I think the girl was about 20, and he said that he had a very close relationship with his stepkids, but that he and his ex-wife had divorced because she cheated on him out in California, and so coming to Georgia was a new beginning for him. She was still out in California. The kids were still out in California. And so, he was like, I can't stand her, but I still want to be in the kids' lives. I have to put. So this is just setting the stage. Again, that first conversation was, we talked about family, job, friends, how he ended up in Georgia, me being in Georgia, the things that, I would think people talk about in the first conversation. All right, now back to the tire blew out. So he shows up to the gas station. He changes my tire, which I just thought was the sexiest thing in the world. And then he proceeds to say, hey, I found a tire place around the corner. You need to get another tire. Like, you can't drive on this donut. So he followed me to um, the tire place, and then helped me get a tire, paid for it. So I was definitely like, wow. And so the vibe was good. So anyway, I get the tire fixed. We follow each other to the Cheesecake Factory over in Perimeter. We hold hands walking into the Cheesecake Factory. So in my mind, I'm like, this is just this. Oh my God, I had butterflies. That's the look of a woman who had butterflies. So I had butterflies, and we go in. There's a long wait. And so we sit outside and we just talk. And the conversation's great. And this is where he tells me what it is he's looking for. He tells me, I believe at the time he was 42. He was like, I want to get married and it be for real. He's like, my parents were married 40 plus years before my mom passed away. And I want that. I want marriage.
Okay, I'm gonna cut in right here with just a couple things. So he's a recent divorcee, and he's attractive. He's 6'4" or 6'5", she says. Recent divorcee. She says he doesn't have any kids. His ex-wife has kids. She cheated on him. He wants to keep a relationship with the kids. He's 42. Okay. What really stood out to me right here is when she's talking now about him really wanting to be in a marriage. So I understand you really want to be in a marriage. You're saying that you just were in a marriage and you just got divorced. It was a painful situation from what he's telling us, right? For what he's telling her. It was a painful situation because she cheated on you. And so I just want to know, like, as a woman being on a date, listening to all this and like getting to know the man, and he's telling you that he wants marriage. I think that is a red flag, because even a woman, like, who just jumps out of one marriage? It was a traumatic type of thing. Y'all feel free to tell me your opinion too, but divorce is very traumatic, right? And especially if you get divorced based upon all the stuff that I don't think he said it, she said everything that happened yet, but all the stuff that happened, and then you move, you're uprooted, you got a new job and everything, and now you want to like this first lady you're meeting, you're telling her that you want like maybe you do want marriage, but it really does feel odd to me that it's like he's really just giving her all these things to like hope for, oh wow, can it be me? you know and it's just odd, really is, that somebody would just get out of a marriage that ended traumatically, move to a whole nother state, and then get on a date and tell the first woman that he meets about him wanting to be, in marriage again real quick. And he's 6'4" and attractive. Just saying. But let's keep listening to the way this all works out. Okay.
Family, a house, like that is what I want. He was like, I'm as a man, I'm ready to get married, but I want it to be for real, because the first time, it really hurt me when she cheated on me. So he's telling me everything that I wanted to hear. And so he was like, what is it that you want? And I said pretty much the same thing. I was like, I'm ready to get married, definitely want to have a family, and I want to marry my best friend. So we both put on the table that we wanted marriage. And this is the end of part one.
Mm-hmm.
Please excuse the hair, but here is part one
I
of
don't know why
Who
I
the
keep
Fuck Did I
having to
Marry?
change it.
So I met my
Oh,
ex-husband
maybe that's
around
why.
March 4th of 2020. We met on
Oh no, not part 5. Hold on. Part 1.
please excuse the hair, but here is part one.
Why is it skipping to part 5?
Okay, part 5. Who the fuck did I marry? Please excuse the hair, but here is part one of Who.
Okay, hold on. I don't know why it's skipping that far. Oh, let's see. So that's the intro.
Hi, and welcome.
That's part 1. Part 5. Let me see what's the next one. Part 6.
Okay. Okay, part 5.
All right, hold for a brief intermission. Gotta figure out why is it skipping from 1 to 5. Let's see. Does this scroll? Yep. Part 1. Oh.
Please.
I know there's a part 2 because I saw it. One, two. Oh, let's see. This might have been better if I logged in, but I'm just using like a guest. I think it really is skipping from part 1 to part 5. We're going to miss a whole lot if that happens. I'll go into her. So I'm in. And then not being on the TikTok app, that's probably not helping me. But one thing is for sure, she's a really good storyteller. Like she's telling this thing in really, really good detail. Um, so where? Oh my Lord. Part 29 and 30. Okay, back to the lower parts. Part 16, 14, 12, 11. Part 6, 5, 1. Did she take some of them down? So look, it's got the intro, disclaimer, part 1, and then it goes to part 5. That's so strange. And then am I at the end? Part 8. All right, it looks like we're going to be going to part 5. Because I don't understand where, I know when I was looking at them yesterday, they were a little bit, there was something going on with the numbering, but I was able to keep up with it. All right, let me just go back up to the playlist. Now my okay, so we got her intro. Let's make sure. Part 6, part 5. Part 1. Oh, so I don't know. Maybe this is like a correction, but it's weird because there used to be a 2, 3, and 4. But we'll just go ahead and go with what she's got here.
Okay, part 5. Who the fuck did I out loud on my audio diaries? And then once again, I'm like, but look at what he's giving you. Like, he's paying. It wasn't a question about money. It was just a question of, are we really about to move into this house? And keep in mind, he's paying all the household bills. He still is. So,
oh no. It's so much information left out right there. Let me go to my TikTok app because from the restaurant, oh my gosh, that's a lot that's been left out. So from the restaurant, let me try to just summarize real quick. They go out on one more date. They keep talking and everything, but I'm pretty sure it was one more like formal date. So they go to Red Lobster as their next formal date. And then from there, this was in 2020. So from there, um, a couple weeks into them dating, we have the the pandemic shutdowns, right? So they were trying to, so by this time, it was like at that first date, they decided that they want to be a couple. They want to go ahead and keep getting to know each other. They want to move forward as if they're going to build their life together from like the first date. So they go on this next date, and then you have the shutdowns happening. And then somewhere in there, she finds out that he doesn't have like a very nice place to live. Her place is much nicer than his place. I want to say she said she has a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, like townhome. And he has a small studio apartment. But he's looking for a house because he's relocated there for his job. Um, Again, they're in Georgia. She said that already. So he's relocated there for his job. Um, he has all this money in accounts from when he played. I want to say he said he played professional football for a very short period of time, and then he went on to arena football. So he supposedly has all this money set aside and put away in accounts, and plus he has this good job that he relocated there for. So he's looking for a house, but he hadn't had time to find one or anything because um, the pandemic is up on us. Okay, so since they're going along so good and they're not going to be able to go out and date and whatnot, um, they're trying to figure out, well, where are we gonna be? Because they want to be together. Everything is shutting down. They want to be together. So, and then somewhere in there, she says she doesn't believe in um, living together for her spiritual reasons. She doesn't believe in that. Her family doesn't believe in that. But this is where she's gonna make a compromise because this is a situation that you wouldn't normally have. So she's gonna make a compromise, and of course she's got the better house to live in. So they're gonna live in her house. So he says, okay, I'm gonna move in, but I'm not going to. Hi, I said what I said. Um, so he's not going to just stay there. He's going to pay the bills. So she also said somewhere in the missing episodes, sorry, we jumped from the introduction to part 1 to part 5. I'm guessing, I don't know where they could have gone. I just looked at some of these last night, so I don't know where they could have gone. But anyway, he says that he's going to pay her bills. So she said, I only had to pay my own car payment and insurance and, whatever, uh, buy her food or whatever. But he's moved in. He's paying all of the house, everything, the rent or mortgage. I don't know if she was, but I think, yeah, it was rent. So he's paying her rent. He's paying all of the electricity, all of that. And, of course, she likes that. She's gotten comfortable with that. And then he's still, quote unquote, looking for this house. So I think this is where we're picking up. I feel like it's probably a whole lot more that is left out because this is 3 whole 10-minute segments that I don't see. So, but we're going to carry on to so that we don't lose what we do have. Okay, so here we go.
We're supposed to
Okay, one more piece. So they're already in the process of looking for the house. They have looked at several houses. What else has happened? She is pregnant right now. So I think by May, she found out she was pregnant. So they started dating either like February or like maybe the beginning of March. Then this is 2020. Then we had the shutdowns. They decided to stay at her house. Um, he's still supposedly looking for a really nice home because he supposedly has all this money put up. He even has a offshore account. Um, and by now she's even seen some like Chase bank statements and stuff. So she's relatively comfortable that he's telling the truth, but it's still some red flags in there. Like one thing that happened when they were looking for the houses, they were already dealing with one real estate agent, and then she looked online one day looking just to look at the house again, or you know how you can go in and look at the pictures of the house or whatever on Zillow. So she goes in online and looks at the house, and she sees that the house is under contract, which he had not told her that he went ahead and put the house that they liked under contract. So the house is under contract, and so she confronts him about it, or says, "So you went ahead and did the contract on the house?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she said, "Well," and I guess by this time she's already talked to the real estate agent, or she just asked him, "Well, so how did you do that? And what about the real estate agent?" And then he said, "Oh, I know somebody else that sells houses, so I went through them." So you know how, like, if a real estate agent has been sending you stuff and taking you to look at properties, I don't know if they looked at so many in person because it's that time, and you couldn't really they couldn't really show houses, especially if somebody lived there. In this particular house, somebody lived there while it was for sale, so they never did see it in person. They were just looking at it online. So he tells her, "Oh, I know somebody else that's an agent, and I wanted them to have the commission. So I went ahead and told them that they can put the house under contract." So she's feeling bad that he just ditched this other real estate agent in the middle of the everything. And so the house is supposed to be under contract. So time rocks on. She goes in another day because she says, "I just felt like I needed to look at this house online." So she goes in another day, looks at the house online, and it's completely off market. Um, so I think this is where she's she is. I hope this is where she is. Because this is and that's very rough because I only just like heard but so many of these episodes just last night. But here we go.
There was always an excuse with him. Always an excuse. Know enough about them, really wasn't involved, should have been. And it was giving me a lot of anxiety. So I'm pregnant with a lot of anxiety. And if I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all, I was not expecting that I was probably going to have a healthy pregnancy because I was stressed. And what I was stressed about is I didn't know what was going on because I wasn't really involved the way that a normal relationship would be involved. Just being honest. So we did not close around. We move now into June. This is now going into June. Around June looked at the house and he do it, other than, and I don't mean to sound super spiritual. I know that people are like, you may or may not believe in God, but I'm telling you, I believe with all my heart, probably the Holy Spirit was like, look at that house on realtor.com. So I looked at the house on realtor.com. This was around June 5th. It showed that the house was off the market. And I remember being like, okay, wait, what does that mean? What does that mean? Because ex-husband is telling me we're about to close on the house. We're about to close. It's our house. We got furniture, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. He's also telling me that he's been in contact with the realtor, his friend, who was telling him, this is what was happening next. Here's what's going on. So the guy that we initially worked with apparently is completely out of the picture. But again, I was not heavily involved. So I'm just like, let me look at the house. I see it's off market. What the fuck does the name of the real estate agent for the seller? I don't remember her name. I called her and I said, I said, my husband and I, even though I wasn't married, my husband and I were looking at this house at 123 Main Street. And we really wanted to tour it, but now I'm showing it's off market. Is it not available? Or I pulled that card and she was like, oh, no, ma'am, it closed yesterday. It closed June 4th. Again, there are certain dates I just remember. And I said, oh, it closed June 4th? I was like, really? And she said, yes, ma'am. She was like, my sellers sold the house. And I was like, oh, man, okay. Well, I said, my husband and I really wanted, we love the pictures of it. And we're getting ready to start a family. So I would have loved to have been able to, have the opportunity to see it. I asked her something. I don't remember the specific question I asked her. And I know why I asked the question, because I was anticipating that my boyfriend at the time was going to have some sort of excuse. So I asked her something about the buyers. And I remember, and somehow, again, forgive me, I don't remember the question I asked her. But the answer was that it was an older white couple. So I get off the phone with her. I record an audio diary, and in the audio diary, I specifically say, okay, there is no house. He's going to have to get out of this lie somehow. Because now I realize, at the very least, he was lying about him being the one who was under contract. I knew enough about that. So I was like, what, how is he going to get out of this? Again, I've listened to the audio diary in 2024. I literally said in that audio diary, how is he going to get out of this lie? And I was trying to think of ways on how he's going to do it. And something said to me, because I say it on the audio diary, I said, he's going to say it's a bad deal. And he's going to say he wants to pull out. Y'all keep in mind, I am pregnant. So I had a decision to make. As ugly as this decision was, I made the decision, you're about to have a baby with this man. He's paying all the household bills. Let him get out of the lie. And that's what I did. I purposely made the decision that I knew he was going to come back, and I knew he was going to give me some bullshit on why he couldn't buy the house, because he didn't know that I knew that house is already sold. The house is already sold.
So really sad, because on the one hand, she is in a predicament, especially at this time. She's gotten pregnant like really short into the relationship. Um, you know, they weren't obviously no type of protective measures were being used or anything. So, she's gotten pregnant really, really quickly into the relationship. Um, and then he is actually there with her, not just he's going to work. Well, we think at this point. I don't know where he's actually going every day, but she says he's going to work. He has money. He's paying bills, but this is a huge lie. Like, that is really huge, because they have dealt with real estate agents. They have I think there's gonna be another house adventure. So I think I'm getting ahead of myself. But I mean, he's talked contracts, and I mean, it's been a lot. They've done a lot. This is huge. So for somebody to be have been lying to this extent, I guess the question is, like, at what point do you just sort of cut your losses and go, that's just a bit much. Like, I could see the good things that he's doing, but a lie to that extent, like, this is not, you know, I said I was at work and I got off a little early and went to happy hour with my friends. This is a whole other level of a lie. Let's see. I said what I said. Who child? Yeah. She saw all the red flags and decided to try to make the relationship work. She wanted to, yeah, in my opinion, she wanted to get married. I don't know why it's hard to read these. Really get married. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Really, really wanted to get married, and really, really, I mean, and okay, so um for the people that know the Shirley Strawberry and Nesto content, right? So one of the things that I thought about, which of course, she's not going to show him or anything like that, but she gives us clues to his attractiveness, right? Because she says he was attractive. She said he was 6'4". Most women think, oh man, the taller the better. Um, and then he's saying all these things that make him more attractive. So I'm just like, those things, like, I don't know, I guess it's something that you just have to kind of know, and you have to get it set in your mind before you come across somebody that is kind of like this take your breath away kind of person. I feel like she wasn't prepared to deal with somebody like him. And so part of it is just kind of like going with the flow, because I do want to get married. I do want to have a family. Um, I'm pregnant now. I want to have this baby inside of a family, and just the whole nine. But my God, that's a tremendous lie to look over. And somebody just having you thinking all the way up to the last minute um, that you're getting ready to have a house, and they wait until the house sells, and then she didn't call him on it. She just let it ride. Let me let her say how she this all worked out.
Um, and this is the part where I said, I'm gonna be honest, even though it's gonna make me look bad, because most women in their right mind would have been like, I'm out, and I didn't. So, sure enough, he came home. He didn't really say anything that day. The next day, I asked him about the house. And he said, my friend, the realtor, he was like, I'm talking to him because something's going on with the interest rate. And when he said that, I felt so much relief because I knew that I had been prepared for he's going to give me some
That's
bullshit.
right, Danielle.
So when he said there's something with the interest rate, I said, you know what? If this is literally what I said, y'all. If the interest rate isn't good, then we shouldn't move there. We should probably let this house go. We should cancel whatever furniture we ordered, or appliances, and let's just look for another house. I said I would like to be moved before the end of the year. I said I really don't want to be 9 months pregnant moving into a house. I would like to be done with this before then. And the way I said it was so calm, and he was like, okay. He was like, I'm gonna call the friend, the realtor, and tell him I'm backing out of the house, and I'm gonna see if I can get my earnest money back. And I remember looking at him. I was standing in the kitchen, and I cocked my head to the side, and I said, okay, get your earnest money back, and let's find another house. And so that's how that first house fell through. So,
let me say this because we missed this part. If I can log in over, I'm probably just need to log in on TikTok. Maybe that's why, because I looked on my phone and I see those other episodes. But this is what I want to say. I missed telling this part because I thought it was in the other house that they're going to look into getting. But they literally went to stores and picked out appliances because these people that were living in that house, they were going to take their appliances with them. So they went to a lot of effort. It takes time to go and store to store, find the appliances you want, pick them out. This man literally put down money to have the appliances that they picked out held in the warehouse or whatever. And keep in mind, this is 2020, like right in the early part of 2020. So things were kind of discombobulated anyway, especially with things like furniture and appliances, because factories and stuff like that, everything was just so slow in getting made. And so they go and pick out appliances. And she said that, she just went crazy. And, you're just looking at all these features and spending all this time. And all to find out that I don't know what he did. I guess maybe he went back later and got his money back because she said she watched him. They did a transaction where he paid extra to have the appliances held. So it's just really like, I don't know, when somebody is at this level of whatever it takes to do all this and none of it be true, I'm just kind of lucky. I mean, I'm happy to see the person still in the land of the living because I'm just like, who does this? And just keeps on walking around the person like everything is just, a-okay. But here, let's finish her out. Here we go.
fast forward, I keep looking at this to see how much time I have, because they only give you 10 minutes. So this is part 5. Part 6 is coming up. But subsequently, what ends up happening the next week, which is mid-June, and I started cramping, started bleeding. And at this point, my doctor, I had just had an ultrasound earlier that day. So I went to work because the ultrasound was fine. I went to work and the cramping and the bleeding started, and I started crying because I kind of knew what was going on. And my doctor had called me and told me that when they did the ultrasound, they did not see a heartbeat. So she was like, this pregnancy is not going to be viable. So I'm crying hysterical. And now we're going to get into part 6.
Wow.
Okay, so this is part 6 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So, where we left off. So, obviously, my doctor had called and told me there was no heartbeat, the pregnancy was not viable at that point, and I was cramping and spotting at work. Went into my best friend's office and immediately started crying. She was like, "What's going on?" And I said, I told her what the doctor said. And she grabbed her keys, grabbed her purse, and was like, "Let's go. I'm taking you home." On my way home, I called my boyfriend and told him what the doctor said. And he was like, "I'll meet you at home." So he was coming from Texas. Let everything happen naturally. Your body will expel the fetus on its own. Second option, you can take a pill which will induce expelling the fetus at home. The pill basically will cause you to contract and expel. The third option was to go into the hospital and do a D&C. I did not want to do a D&C because I did not want to be in a hospital with COVID going on. Um, and for whatever reason, I did not do the option of let it happen naturally. So I chose to do the pill. His birthday was June 17th. My ex's birthday was June 17th. So the decision was made, we're going to celebrate his birthday that day, go out to eat. And then that night, I would take the pill because we both were off from work the next 2 days, next 2 or 3 days. So went out to eat, to try to celebrate as best we could, and then took the pill that night. That night was the most traumatic, excruciating pain I've ever put my body through. I do not recommend any woman, if prayerfully you don't have to go through that, but I don't recommend taking that pill. If you don't have to, don't do it. Um, I spent the whole night in the bathroom just crying in so much pain. I couldn't take, they gave me a narcotic. I couldn't take it because I found out I was allergic to it. So it was causing me to like projectile vomiting. It was a mess. So, um, and he was right there. You know, he was scared that he needed to take me to the ER. But in the morning, the pain kind of subsided. So about 72 hours later, I had another doctor's appointment where the purpose of this appointment was to do an ultrasound to see if everything had passed. Everything did not pass. So, because of that, my doctor was like, we're going to have to do a DNC. Um, my DNC was scheduled for the first week of July. My boyfriend, my ex, was going to take me. Um, that was always the plan. 2 days before my procedure, he comes home and tells me that he is up for a promotion. He's up to be promoted to VP. Because of this, the president of the company, excuse me, is coming in, and it was going to be this huge business meeting he had to go to. The business meeting was scheduled for the day of my surgery. And so I'm throwing a fit because I was like, there's no way you can do that meeting. Like, I need you to take me to the hospital and all this other stuff. And so he offered to have his sister take me to the hospital. Apparently his sister lived in Douglasville. I was like, no, because I've never met her. Like, I know I'm not having a stranger take me to the hospital. No, this is a private situation. I don't want to do that, blah, blah, blah. So my aunt was had offered to take me, and then my friend who took me home from work had offered to take me. So at that point, we get into an argument because he's like, my sister is, you about your family, so why can't she step in? And I was like, nah, because I don't know her. Period. I don't know her. So my friend offers to take me to the hospital because I was all distressed that he's saying he has a business meeting and
I'm going to stop her right there. So, having Nesto's side chick, I'm so glad that she didn't let this sister, quote unquote, sister of his, take her for her procedure, because she could have easily just been some woman that, some other woman of his that was willing to say that, I'll say I'm your sister. I mean, like, we see that, like, I've never known anybody who would do that, but just looking at the way that the whole um Ernesto and Shirley Strawberry and Sonya, picture, just looking at the whole fallout of that, and people not really being able to lie to you because you see what they're doing. They're telling you themselves, like Sonya, she told us, well, she told him, and she wound up telling us when the calls came out and stuff. But she's like, oh, um I'll just say, well, who did she say that to? She was saying it to, I want to say she told Nesto that one of her male friends, um she said that she would tell his wife that just your friend or something like that, but it was a friend that she had slept with previously. And I want to say that was even a person that she ended up going out to dinner with him and his wife. I said what I said. Sometimes God watches over us when we are being foolish, especially when we try to force something that's not supposed to be. So true. I'm sad she had a miscarriage though, but it was a blessing. Yeah. Um, my goodness, because if she had had his baby, there's unless he's in jail right now, if she'd had his baby, she couldn't have had this, complete cutoff. She said that she doesn't talk to him at all, none whatsoever anymore. So it would have been hard to impossible for her to be able to cut him off completely if she had that baby. Um, but yeah, so I just wanted to say I'm real glad that she put her foot down about that and didn't let that woman, his supposed sister, because she hasn't met all these people, and he has a good excuse. You can't really go around people during this time. So but the woman literally could have been anybody that he was in a relationship with, some form of a relationship, or somebody that he had been in some type of a relationship with. Because I haven't gotten to that part in this to that point in the story to find out who, if any of these people that he says is his family, is really his family. But okay.
and he can't take me. So I remember being on I-75 on the connector on the phone with her crying because I was so embarrassed that he wasn't going to be the one to take me, and that I was needing to rely on someone else to take me to the hospital in order to get a DNC done. And she was really great. She was like, girl, this is why you have a village. Like, it's okay. Things happen. The world is crazy right now. I will take you. You're going to be okay. So he did not take me to the hospital for my DNC. My friend did. She could not stay because of COVID protocol. So when they wheeled me into pre-op after I got checked in. I texted him and was just letting him know, hey, here's the update. I'm about to, I'm in pre-op. They're going to get me prepared to go back to the surgical ward or whatever. And the response I got was from his new executive assistant named David. Now, when he told me he was up for the promotion, he did tell me that part of getting this new job would be that he would get an executive assistant named David. And he did tell me, I'm going to make sure that I inform David if you get a text from this number, meaning from me, pull me out of the meeting because she's my fiance's having a procedure done.
This is so cringy right here. Who I mean, what? Who is he? The president of the United States? Like, he's not even the president of the company. Why can you not have your phone, your cell phone that'll slide right into any pocket, right? What in the world is keeping you from having your own cell phone in your pocket and telling these people, my fiance is in a surgical procedure today. I did what I could do to still be here. But when she calls me, when she's out of her surgical procedure and out of recovery, I'm going to have to go. So this makes absolutely no sense. I mean, unless you are, I don't know what type of position he would have to be in this company, like the CEO of the company. And if you're the CEO, you can certainly do whatever it is you need to do. So this just is, oh, this right here is awful, because it's just no telling who this man is, this David person. um I don't understand why he's doing this. She says he's a pathological liar, so I guess he's just doing it for kicks and giggles. I don't know, but it's just no way that this has had to be done. He's not the president of the company. He's not the president of the country. He just is simply a dude that works somewhere that got some sort of promotion, and there's some sort of meeting going on. Uh, Even if it's in his honor. Look, I'm here. I was able to, go ahead and still make it in here today, but my fiance had to have a surgical procedure. And when she's done in recovery, I have to go get her. And that's it. I mean, that's the end of it. I don't, but yeah. And then this guy answering the phone is it's just gross. Um, I said what I said. Says dude probably was on his last write up at work and couldn't take off. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But why is some man answering your phone? This is just not okay. Um, and I wanted to say something too about you mentioning the background check. So I think, like, in today's times, unfortunately, if you don't know somebody, like, and really, I don't know, if you can't do the whole my people kind of know your people, or you we grew up near each other and I kind of know, you're kind of familiar with the person and where they came from, and you know you kind of know that they haven't dipped out for 5 or 10 years or whatever. Probably a lot of people need to do a background check, and that would just probably cut out a lot of foolishness. Now, it's a lot of people that haven't gone to jail for things that they may have, you know potentially should have gone to jail for. But even if you did a background check where where it comes up, like, who's related to you and where you're from, at least you can, like, fact check a lot of people and what they're telling you against what their background information really is. So yeah, I agree. I do think a lot of people need to go ahead and just start doing some background checks. And then I said what I said. Also said she wasn't thinking because at that time they were doing Zoom calls and they were not meeting in person at that time. Wow. Oh, wow. So true. So true.
And I'm picking her up. So it's important that you come get me if it's something serious. So I text him. David responds. He said, "Yeah, Mr. Blah Blah told me that you are having a procedure done. If you need me to get him, I can go get him. He's in a meeting. Just let me know what you need." And I just said, "No, don't bother him. I'm just giving an update that they're about to take me back." And David responds and says, "I'm so sorry you're going through this. Please let me know if there's anything I can do." So I have the procedure. I wake up and I am now in recovery. I should be in recovery 45 minutes up to an hour and a half. I wake up, first thing I ask, and I remember asking, is where is so and so? The nurse who was so sweet, she was like, everything went well. You're doing great. She said, we spoke to your fiance. He's on his way. So I said, okay, okay. I kind of dozed back out, but I could still hear everything that was going on. I just could not keep my eyes open to save my life. So I hear her talk to the other nurse. And that's when she said, yeah, Dr. So and so called her fiance and his executive assistant picked up. And the executive assistant said that he was in a business meeting and that, you could relay to him what you need to say and he'll tell the fiance. And my doctor was like, hell no, HIPAA. I need to speak to him. So apparently, my fiance called the doctor back about 30 minutes later, and the doctor informed him she'll be ready to be discharged in about an hour. You can make your way and come pick her up. He said he was on his way. He was on his way from Duluth to Atlanta, which is not a huge distance, but the time of day, one thing about Atlanta, there's always traffic. So he should have been there within the hour. I should have only been in recovery an hour and a half. Let's go to the next part.
Okay. Oh man, this poor lady. Okay, so let me go ahead and stop right here because I think I'm almost an hour and 30 minutes in. Wait a minute, let me stop. Stop her and stop that so it won't keep talking. Okay. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop right there because I'm almost like an hour and 30 in, and I need to do a few other things, and then I need to come and review the Sonia, Ernesto, Shirley Strawberry's husband video visit that phone calls from prison dropped yesterday. So I do need to come back and review that one. But yeah, this is just I can't wait to see how this all pans out. I really do want to see like what all she ended up finding out because by currently, she's divorced. The man is completely cut off. She doesn't speak to him at all. So it's really going to be interesting to see how much more stuff has to happen before she turns this whole thing completely off. But okay, let's see what y'all are saying over here. Okay, I said what I said. It says he love bombed her and had her in a fantasy world. Meanwhile, he's figuring out on how to keep up the BS or keep the BS up. Yeah, for sure. I mean, wow. Do you think he was just kind of like making this up as he went? This is pathetic. And then to like have somebody, I mean, I feel like he really put her through the ringer with this whole her going into the hospital situation. But yeah, that does make a lot of sense. If he actually couldn't take off work or he would lose the job, then I guess he would have to just come up with some sort of fantastic lie to make it seem like he's so important. So I guess, yeah, I'm so not important that I can't take off work. So I'm going to spin it into I'm so important that, that I'm going to be late. But really, it's just that I have to finish out my shift. Um, and yeah, for sure, the love bombing, all of that, getting in really quick, me getting to know you, you getting to know me. I want a family. But just what gets it for me, and maybe it's my age kicking in here, like I just know if I just got out of a relationship, and especially like I'm a woman and I don't want to just get right back into a relationship, because I realized something, like I really need to get to know this person. Um like there's reasons why you just got out of the marriage that you were in. So you really want to spend some time, not them tell you about themselves. Like you really want to spend some time getting to know the person to see, just so many things that takes time. So for this guy who is attractive to be moving to Atlanta now, he moved to Atlanta. He's attractive. And one of the first, he didn't say she was the first woman he went on a date with, but um she's got to be one of the first, because he hadn't even been there that long. And I just like, this is going so good. It's you. I that's just not. So yeah, she completely allowed herself to be love bomb like that. And then, hi, my world. She says, hey, Kels, this is my friend Kat. Hey, Kat, how's the work day going? If you're at work today, I hope you're having a good day. And Danielle says, this man is doing way too much. Oh, gosh. And it's going to get to be even more. So I'm going to try to figure out, like I said, where's those other episodes, because I don't want to get going real good again and then it cut off again. So I'm going to figure it out. I think it's probably just that I need to log in, and I am on a laptop, so I need to like figure out how to log in to my login. I know how to get there on my phone, but not on a laptop. And then so we can pick this back up at another time. And then I said what I said. Everyone needs to spend time to know who they are first before trying to get in a relationship, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and for her, she seems like, like she's, I don't know, she seems like she's very, stable, steady, even minded, even tempered. Um, and but I just think like some people you're not ready for, and especially if they're like really savvy at their game and conning people, like you're not ready. But you also have to know you are not ready for certain people. So that's like the truth that you have to tell yourself. And I think maybe even just looking at him, she probably should have just said, you know what, let me put a little bit of time and distance between me and this situation. And if I miss out, I just miss out, because I really need to see what is his motives. Because, this may not be like the typical type of person, looking person that that I talk to that goes for me, and this is all moving so fast. So maybe I just need to put a little distance between so that I can really find out if what he's saying matches up with who he actually is. And then my world again, girl at the office. Oh, you're working at the office. Not Mr. Charlie. Yep, until your rich man retires you. Well, yeah, true that. And then just make sure when you do find the rich man, go ahead and just do a background check on him. Make sure he's not lying. Because this she thought this man was rich. She thought he had she thought he had a lot. It sounds to me like he listened to a lot of these like catfish type shows and he decided to become the catfish instead of being like, oh wow, these people are really doing some damage out here. It's like he learned from the catfishers. Oh, it's on YouTube also? Okay. Oh, good. Yeah, because that'll be a lot easier. Thank you so much. Danielle says she should have pumped the brakes a little for sure. Things were moving way too fast. Yeah. And yeah, that whole like we're gonna quarantine together. Mm-mm. You could have went. He could have went ahead and just stayed at his place, and they could have just kept driving to each other. I mean, like, they could have just kept having dates at wherever they could find, meet at parks, drive over to each other's house. But just to go ahead and decide after a couple weeks, let's move in because um, things are going to be closed. I don't, that wasn't, that right there definitely wasn't like a wise choice. But she knew it. Gotta watch these people with looks. I've just that's how I feel about Nesto, Shirley Strawberry's husband. I just feel like even though like it's people that are much better looking than him, but when somebody looks like they're presenting a whole package to you, like they're handsome and they're well groomed, and for like a person of Nesto's age anyway, he's got all this hair. He has a hair on his head. He's not balding, and he has nice teeth. And I don't know how tall he is, but this man and her ex-husband, he had a lot of height on him, and um, you know, nice cars and nice clothes and nice shoes, and you just have to really watch it. Like it's the dream, it's what you want, but cat cat is so funny. Girl, bye. I'll be hoping he don't do a background check on me. Oh my gosh, this lady is funny. um Yeah, she's also a content creator on YouTube. So you all might want to go over and check out her content. And then I said what I says should have just FaceTime each other. Okay. I'm gonna read the whole comment. Should have just FaceTime each other. That way she could have checked out how he was living. Absolutely. And I think in part two, was it like one of those other parts that we missed where she said he had like a small studio type of apartment? I think she even made that sound better than what it might have actually been, because she just made it sound like it was small. I don't remember her giving much detail, like if it was furnished or because you can live somewhere small and it still be nice, nice bed, nice, sectional. Most of the places that they're building now are really small, but they're nice. And, you can put your nice furniture in there and you have a nice place. So she just said it was a small place that he was living in, and her house was the better option. I do like the fact that she takes a lot of responsibility. Studio apartment, yeah. Um, she takes a lot of responsibility for how she was looking at everything and how she just passed by all the red flags like she didn't even see them. And at some point, I think when he did the lie about that house, and it's not just one lie, that was so many lies that he had to tell and keep up and maintain. And just, the fact that you have me on this path and I'm thinking how I'm thinking about this situation, about getting ready to move. And she didn't really talk about herself spending a lot of money, but she could have. I'm sure she could have started buying, extra things for this new house that she thinks that she's getting. And it's just, I don't know. But yeah, background check. I think if it's one takeaway, and even if it's not just all criminal, at least to be able to verify where they have said that they live where they said that they live, that they have the family members that they are saying that they have. And because the way she's telling this story later on in the story, it's sounding like a lot of things weren't true about his family members, and maybe even about his parents, and about when he's having conversations on the phone all the time in front of her. And it seems like she's going to let us know later that he wasn't even talking to these people, like they didn't even exist. So it's it's a crazy story. Okay, I said what I said. Says Kelly, I know you have to go, but why get pregnant if you knew you were in trouble 2 weeks after getting married? So she got pregnant first. She got pregnant. She knew she was pregnant in May, in other words. So they moved in together in March. She knew she was pregnant in May. And then they got married down the line after that. I'm trying to think, have I heard when they actually did go and get married? I heard the part where he proposed, but I don't think I've heard the part where they actually did go get married because she didn't like the proposal that she got. But does that answer the question? But yeah, to me, yeah, of course, it was way far enough down the line to where she didn't have to get married. But yeah, I could have that timeline wrong. But I thought that she didn't actually get married to him until a little bit later on. Because she wasn't even in the part with him buying the house. She was just his fiance at that part. Okay. All right. Thanks. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, I'll probably do another stream sometime this afternoon. So if you have a chance, come on back. And if not, just, pick it up on the replay. But thank y'all for joining me, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.